I wanted to speak about the 3 days of darkness that so many people are promoting. And I've had some questions about that. I've never really spoken about that myself, but I have the question and then answers will come to me. So I have begun to speak a little bit about the idea of a vampire. And this morning I was interested to see Robert Schoch, W.R. Schoch, on his X.com post explaining that mirrors are melted sand, and so they are in fact crystals. And when you're looking into the mirror, you conjure your own reflection because you believe in what you look like, and you're basically conjuring a reflection of yourself. But vampires do not see the reflection. And this gets into some thoughts I've been having about vampires and the raves. So if you understand that the raves are going to have 3 days in the bardo and they're right back in their body. What I understand about the raves is that they are pretty much like a technological species that has to form a penta, and they just sit kind of staring together because they are AI controlled. Now, what W.R. Schoch said was that the reason that a vampire cannot see its reflection is that it is already a Borg, meaning that it's already nanite. Okay, it's a machine. And that gets into this whole idea of that the nanotechnology has been put into our bodies potentially for thousands of years. And then I was sent a video, Harold Kautz Vela on the Power Hour, kill switch, and AI zombies. And I had to say that one word in a whisper because it can make sure that my video will go up. I have to kind of whisper that one word of the mass psychosis event. And that was published July 24th of 2023, so a year ago. And at that time, Harold Kautz Vela on the Power Hour, and that's on BitChute, by the way, said that as of 2014, 70% of Americans were already basically being controlled by these nanites. And then when they put the 5G up, it became like very forceful control of humanity. And I'm noticing, Claude and I have been noticing this for some time now, that there are very few humans out there. So we walk every morning, we kayak, we go into the woods, we garden, we're in the yard, we do things, and we don't see anyone else. And this has been going on for years. We at first in 2020, we thought it was just because people were afraid to go out. But still, we're out there, and there are very few humans. Also, someone remarked that they thought that there was going to be this mass extermination, but they keep seeing babies coming in. Yes, those are the Borgs. Those are the cyborg babies that are being born. So they get 3 days in the bardo and they're right back in. So the mass extermination is happening, and the things that come in are not human. In fact, I would suggest that they are dead. They are here, but they are dead. And that is because they are basically walking zombies. And they need to have all these tweaks in their bodies all the time, which is why we now have a whole lot of mRNA stuff coming out, because their bodies are barely able to be a robot, like a biological robot. So everyone that you see coming in now is a biological robot. And that's why, unless you have your platelets and your red blood cells and your hemoglobin, and you are still have that singing blood of a human, you're basically a robot. You think that you are having a human experience, but you're not. You're in a blood bank, and you're going to be used for your secretions. And that's how I see these smart cities. To me, how I see them taking away rural relationships, country living, experiences in nature, and how so many people are just happy to live in an apartment in the city. Those are the blood banks. And if you watched the video that I shared on the community page about these blood banks, that's the new cannibalism. So we're basically all being made into vampires, because what I understand is that most medications have human blood in them. You have to watch that video. And where are they getting this blood? They are getting it from the super impoverished people since 2008 that don't have enough resources to pay their rent. Many of them are on the street or in very low income housing. And so all of these crashes are part of that plan to destroy the human, to separate it from its spirit, and to make it into a thing that can't die, which is what black goo is. Black goo is dead, but it can't die, meaning it's sentient, but it has no spirit. Okay? And that's what this place is. That's what the machine is. And we're in the draconian fantasy land, right? So I also finally figured out the whole Tribal Knowledge Academy stuff and why they think that AB negative is the highest consciousness. It's astounding to me. And I don't want to discredit anyone in particular, because I think that's a huge polarization game, but I do think now that the AB blood has already got all those nanites in it. That's why it looks like a spike protein. So that highest consciousness is like a zombie vampire with cyborg controls in the little nanites that are all over the blood cell. That's exactly what's going on. That's why that's the highest consciousness, because it's already psychopathic, being controlled by 5G antennas. So this is really interesting to me. When I saw Harold Klaus Vella on the Power Hour, and he also said that the BRCA1 gene is being methylated out of our body, which is why we're seeing these huge increased rates in breast cancer, because it's definitely connected to the breast, the spleen, and the ovaries or the testicles. So we're seeing these turbo cancers, and every time you see a turbo cancer, that is the soul being removed so that you are stuck here in a dead matrix. Now, I did do a lot of research about methylene blue, and I have tried 1 drop of it in water just to see what effect it had on me. Claude is drinking it in his water right now. He is the AB blood type, so it seems to work really well for him. For me, it was just like kind of strange. My digestion got a little bit weird. But again, that's because I'm O positive. And the only reason I'm O positive, because my father was O null, I believe, is because I have the allele for, or what's called the mutation for malaria. My father was in Vietnam. So when I was in Mexico, I basically tested positive for malaria, but it had no symptoms. So that's my O positive thing. And that's the only thing that makes me different from the golden mean blood, O null. So, there's a lot of people asking me to talk about this, discredit this person, discredit this person, discredit this person. There's a huge conversation on my Facebook page again right now about David Icke and Dolores Cannon, and I have already addressed these people, right? They're part of the controlled opposition where they're giving you the truth. They're giving you the topic to be entertained by, but they're not letting you know that you are soon going to be dead, but you cannot die. You will be like a vampire controlled by nanites and have no thoughts of your own, no creativity of your own, and you'll be like the rest of the Walking Dead who are driving their cars. So if this was true in 2014, that 70% of Americans are already nanite Borgs being controlled, what is it now, 10 years later? And that's what I'm seeing. That's really what I'm seeing with Claude, is that If there's even 1% of us here that is still human, it's amazing. Now, the healing journey is to remember that you are completely innocent of this, and that this whole place is draconian fantasy land, okay? And their thing is to trick you into coming back, coming back, coming back, coming back. So someone also asked me a question about, what is this thing with, should I get married? Should I have children? I wouldn't. I wouldn't. And what we really are going to have to do is form a certain amount of breakaway societies, because I do think that they are going to stuff us all in smart cities and use our secretions for blood banks. And that's the plan. That's why they need to get us all into a particular blood type, because only that blood type is the one that they want. That's the secretion that allows the organ harvesting. And one person also commented, and I love the comments. My gosh, you're all so brilliant. The comments that you're making on my videos. You have to be careful about the digital world, because if you have ever filled out an online driver's license online and agree to be an organ donor, you basically cannot get that off your card, because it's digital. You see, they can always refer back to that digital thing. Oh, no, see, here it is. She said that she's going to donate her this, her that, and her other thing. So be careful about that. That's part of this whole trickery with the digital health pass, right? You have to be willing to give up your secretions. You have to be willing to take their experimental this and that to degrade you into basically a vampire cyborg, so that you are no longer connected to your oversoul. And someone also asked me about your higher self. Well, you probably have one. And if it has any kind of connection to you still through your spirit, through your soul, if you are still connected and you have not been severed because BRCA1 has been methylated out of your body, then your soul would be telling you, don't take any of this stuff. Like mine very strongly was like, no way, you couldn't pay me $2 million to put that in my body. So that's how you know if you're still connected to your so-called higher self, which I hate that word higher, because it's not higher than you. It's your cosmic truth of who you are before this physical hologram. If you are connected, then it would immediately be like, no way, do not drink that water, do not take that. And it's not just in that. I've also seen, because my friend keeps sending me this stuff, that it's in every single thing that they put into your gums when you go to the dentist. It's in every INJECTION. It's in all of them. So if you are connected to your higher self, you would know not to go anywhere, to give any blood, to take any blood. And the blood is in all medications, folks. That's what it is. It's the new cannibalism. So I know people do not want me to make videos without offering solutions. But the solution, again, is to stay human. Make sure that you have red blood cells. Make sure that you have platelets. Make sure that your hemoglobin is correct. And that you don't have a body full of nanites and black goo, because that's what a vampire is. It doesn't die. The other thing that Harold Klaus Vela said is that basically we are becoming virtual zombies anyways. And that's why they have to control us with all these nanites, because our bodies are degrading and degrading and degrading. And people made great observations on the Scarlet Women video about, if we weren't menstruating every month, wouldn't we have so much more health and vitality? Yeah, right. So they keep degrading us in these ways. Wait until you have to give your blood every 3 days, like the people from Cleveland, where the blood banks are every day paying them $200 to come back and give their plasma. Every 3 days, and these people can't eat without it. So it becomes that. And of course, they're not screening what they ate or how much ketamine they've taken, or, I mean, so you're getting all of that. Plus, there's sexually transmitted demons that are in their body because those demons attach to the blood. Rudolf Steiner talked a lot about how it was in the 1800s that the fallen angelics got into our blood, and then they got into our nervous system. So yeah, the fallen angelics, the demons, are in the blood and the nervous system of most of humanity. So hopefully that is some of the topics. And, I was just telling Claude, I'm making another video right now because, again, I've had another weird cancellation. And I think, I've emailed this person 3 times, and I want you all to know, like, get your wits about you. Humans, you are losing it. I think I've had 5 cancellations of people that just spaced it out this month and just can't come to a session. If you are going to have a session with me, do not write me big, long emails, just your name as you want it to appear, your exact birth time according to a birth certificate, the exact birth date, and the exact location with the state, the country, and possibly the city name, depending on where you are. And then what day of week, and what time of day, and then you can get a response from me. If you're not doing it like that, I'm pretty much not going to respond because I get thousands of emails. So unless you can do it, with your exact birth time, date, and location, and tell me what day of the week in August, which is where I am at this point, it will work for you, how can I respond to you? I don't know what to say. And then it's like 10 emails later, and I'm finally like, can you give me your exact birth time? So I really see most of people are infected with this Borg state, and they're in this like decaying body, and the decaying body has to be hooked into the internet to remember what it's even doing. It's like people don't even have memory anymore. There's like this weird fog on everybody's brain. 5G towers, Gwen towers. You looked up Gwen towers, right? That's the new Osirian obelisk that's controlling everybody's brain. They're called Gwen towers. So, what to do? Better take a 3-mile walk every morning. Better go kayaking. Better go lay in your hammock and listen to the birds and be a real human. Growing your herbs. Getting all those herbs for strong blood like dandelion. Right, Claude? Hope you're eating all your herbs and being close to nature. Making sure your flora and fauna are good in your gut health. I've already made all the videos about all the solutions, folks. Okay, so the 3 days of darkness that all these New Agers are talking about is just the Bardo period for the raves. That's why all these babies are being born now. They're dead for 3 days, they're right back in. That's called a zombie vampire cyborg race. Okay, bye-bye for now.